Now we're talking with Matt. Matt's mom is looking at going into long-term care. Matt's mom's about 78, so she's active. She wants to go to a place that's got regular folks in it, vibrant and all the rest, but she doesn't want to keep mowing the lawn. Matt offered her the Murphy bed in the spare bedroom. She turned that one down. Matt's mom's got about $3 million. And what we're suggesting is because of the rules that apply to continuity of care facilities, right? Because of those rules, you need, and because of the wealth, frankly, that mom and dad died last year, mom and dad have built up over the years, right? And we'd like to preserve some of that. Aren't we terrible, terrible people for having a life of planning, life of working, preserved for the kiddies? Oh gosh, that's just, I know, just terrible, awful. Anyway, here's how you do it. The thing is, with a continuity care facility, there are different rules than with a skilled nursing facility in terms of what planning you can do. In other words, if you disclose certain assets to a continuity care facility, you can be held to that disclosure. Fine. So you just don't disclose everything. And you tell them, look, I want you to evaluate my application based on $350,000 of cashy money in the bank, plus a $250,000 check that I'm going to hand you now for admitting me to your program. Okay? That's what you're going to make your decision on. I'm not telling you what else I got. I've got other stuff, by the way, but I'm not telling you about it. You make your decision based on this. This is what you can hold me to. And if they say no, which they won't, then you just go on to the other 23 on your list and you pick the next one. It's not a problem. Now, will they be, ooh, we don't do it that way? Of course they're going to be, ooh, I don't do it that way. They want to strip you naked. Well, we don't want to be stripped naked. Thank you. I saw what look at the turkey, the other day there, right? I mean, I don't want to be like that. So I'm going to keep my feathers. But you can take these feathers you can have, the rest of it hands off. Now, what we're going to do with the other 2.5 or so million is we're going to put it into what we call a Medicaid, not Medicare, but a Medicaid divestment trust. You could give the money away to your kids. Yes, you could, but your kids. So you don't want to do that. You want control over it. This is money that you built up, that your spouse built up. You worked and saved, you clipped the coupons, you didn't go on vacation, you did all the rest of the stuff to accumulate this money. Why would you give it away now? The answer is you wouldn't give it away now. I'm not advising you to do that. Don't give it to your kids, but you put it in a trust. And then Matt's question was, well, what is this magical trust? Is it Alibaba's cave? Is it, what is it? Well, here's the deal. It's not the typical revocable living trust that everybody's doing, and which I have repeatedly said doesn't work because people don't actually work the trust. So it doesn't work on its own terms, but it doesn't work to protect assets either. Okay. So it's not that trust. We do that trust. Listen, having a revocable living trust, very good idea, very useful. I was thinking in this situation, mom would have one. That's where your 300,000 is going. Okay, so you pay the bills and all the rest. Great. That's what I'm doing with that $500,000 is I'm doing the revocable trust. I'm showing them that. I'm saying, look, I got some hold cards over here. You can't see those, but here's my hand. Let's go on this basis. And if they do go on that basis, then you've done all the disclosure you need to do. You're good. Okay. What am I going to do? All right. The other trust, though, does have significant restrictions built into it. Okay. So when you put assets into this trust, what the trust says is that the principal is not to be used for the benefit of the grantor. Now, mom still gets to decide whose benefit it goes to. Okay. Mom gets to decide that. But, and if she wants to buy a house with it, if she wants to buy a car with it, whatever, she can invest the money however she chooses. As a practical matter, she has control over the funds. She gets to decide who the beneficiaries are. She gets to use it for whatever she wants to use it for, okay, in terms of purchasing assets, in terms of reinvesting it, all that kind of stuff. So, and there's other stuff built in to ensure mom's practical control over the funds. In fact, because of the control that's built into it, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, says, oh, well, you haven't done a trust. Or excuse me, you've done a trust, but you have such control over it, we're going to disregard it. It's what they call a grantor trust, and it's a disregarded entity. What that means is that there's no separate tax return. There's no, you're not paying trust rates of tax or anything like that. It all gets taxed back to mom on mom's tax return, just as it always has. The difference is, because the trust is tailored for this purpose, for Medicaid purposes, you gave the money away. You said, but wait a second, I didn't give the money away. I know you didn't. Oh man, are we out of time again? Well, anyway, I tell you what. Hang on, Matt. We'll finish it up in the next segment.